Alright, welcome to our new video. We're going to be thinking out loud about 3 questions, or 4 questions. One is the difference between FI users and FE users. The second question is, which types do I get along with, and which types do I have conflict with as an INFJ? And also, what is the type of my father, and what is the type of my girlfriend? So we're just thinking out loud and practicing our own typing skills. And this is kind of a continuation of the previous series. So you are welcome to join as we think out loud and work with our tools. It's kind of hard to get that amount right. So I have enough space to make it fairly thick. So we can do it like this. That's about right. And then this is basically inspired from my previous videos I made 3 videos about FI users, and I noticed some patterns. So now I want to see if I can reconstruct the same in a more improved diagram by hand, and then see if we could connect some more hidden revelations. So the way we are constructing this type is basically off of the cognitive functions. I think it would actually be good to have a line going through the conscious and subconscious functions as well. Maybe a different color would be good. Kind of emphasize. Oh, I think I know where we could be. Okay. We're truly one of the clarity-seeking types of people. We're seeking clarity in our own life, and we want to help give others clarity. I've been feeling a little bit down today. I've learned a lot of knowledge, and I don't really feel like I've been able to. I don't feel able to help or use the knowledge as well as I really wish I could. So I have been really thinking about how I could make improvements on that. I also really appreciate everyone who's made graphics that I've used in the past. I wonder if this is enough space to go hero. Parent. Child. Vulnerable. Opposing. I actually want to stop calling it the hero function and call it the dominant. Because I'm starting to realize that the dominant function is getting people in more trouble than people realize. The opposing, critic, the trickster, demon, we'll be using this chart more often, so we should do a good job with it as much as we can. I wonder if we will do ISFJ so that I'm gonna start coming up with my own names for stuff so I don't get confused. The ISFJ, the ESFJ, who has FE the second, so it'd be the INFJ. INFJ. Oh dear. It's the ISFJ and the... Oh, I'm recording. ISFJ and the ENFJ, the dominant. So then the ESFJ. Is the ESFJ a dominant feeler? Oh dear, it's not the ISFJ that's dominant feeler, it's ESFJ and ENFJ. And so it's actually ISFJ and INFJ. And then the third, we have ENTP and ESTP. ESTP and ENTP. We can construct that. And then that should be ISTP, the INTP. I haven't really seen people pair things by FI and FE use, to my knowledge, but it makes sense to me. TE, then that's the I. N-I, S-I, F-E, T-I, N-E. ISTJ is S-I. We'll be doing some ISTJ videos because my mother is coming to visit me soon. S-I-T-E-F-I, N-E, N-I-T-E-F-I, S-E, let me see, N-E-T-I-F-E-S-I, S-E-T-I-F-E-N-I. ESTJ would be the T-E, T-E-S-I, no. T-S-I-N-E-F-I, S-I-T-E, oh. There's been a miswrite. It can't be ISTJ's already up there. So ENTJ. There'd be ENTJs here. Which would be T-N-I-S-E-F-I. T-I-N-I-F-E-T-I-N-E-S-I-F-E. The ESFJ, and we're writing this from memory. We really enjoy working out. N-E-T-I, F-E-N-I, S-E-T-I, F-I, F-I, N-E-S-I, T-E, S-E-N-I-T-E. Should say dominant, the parent, the child, vulnerable, opposing, critic, a demon. Say an I. MBTI. It is my deepest wish that my life gets recorded, and I record my thoughts and my ideas, and it helps other people live better, because my life was lived incorrectly and caused a lot of unnecessary pain, and I want other people to live smoother than I lived. And I don't want my pain and my life to be meaningless. I want it to actually make a difference in at least one person's life. That's something that means a lot to me. And I've made the decision to stay focused on what I feel like I was put on the earth to do, even if it doesn't get that much respect. I want to be as skillful as possible in the things I feel I was meant to be skillful at. And so I'm willing to put in the work. It's a Sunday. I could be resting, but I don't really want to do anything other than what I feel like I was put on the planet to do. I can accept not everyone can understand that. It doesn't seem like everyone is meant to understand that. And some people were meant to cross my path. Some people were meant to leave my life. So accept that. But at the same time, I want to do my part. I want to influence my fate a little bit more. I hope we don't make any mistakes out here. But if we make mistakes, it's fine. ESP has any demon. That's kind of interesting. I'm gonna have to think a lot about the people's demons functions. I'm gonna make some cute names for all the types. And I'm gonna put the Socionics type next to them, because why not? If we're gonna reuse this over and over again, we should be a little bit more careful. So ISTP is definitely a thinker. TI DOMs, which means they are FE vulnerables, which means they are FI demons. T, they're SEs. And E, that is SI. SE, and this is NI. And God help us, bless us to do things in a nice way. Okay. A little bit laggy. So when we look at the positions of FI and FI, FE, FE, we're going to see emergent patterns, I believe. And if we had to make nicknames for them, we're going to use some names that stand out as we should actually use some because I'm going to use this more in the future. I think it'd be a good idea to actually take the unmarked version. So the ESFJ is going to be ESE, I believe. Socionics is ESE. Ethical, sensing, extrovert. And EFG is going to be ethical, EIE, ethical, introverted, extrovert. And ISJ is going to be sensing, ethical, introvert. INFJ is introverted, no, intuitive, ethical, introvert. ESTP is going to be a sensing, logical, extrovert, SLE. And the ENTP is going to be a intuitive, logical, extrovert. And then the ISTP is going to be a logical, sensing, LSI. INTP is a logical, intuitive, introvert, LII. And the ISFP is a ethical, sensing, introvert, ESI. Okay. And then the INFP is the introverted, extroverted, intuitive, introvert, EII. ESFP is a sensing, ethical, extrovert, SEE. And ENFP is a intuitive, ethical, extrovert, IEE. ISTJ is a sensing, logical, SLI. And then the INTJ is a intuitive, logical, introvert, ILI. And then the ESTJ is a logical, sensing, extra, LSE. ENTJ is a LIE. Okay. This gives us socionic types. We could also do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh. And now we're going to set on some names for our types that we think will make them more memorable. And we were going to take a dictionary to make sure we spell things right, because some of these names are having a hard time ISFP is the aesthete. The ESJ is the host. Party. The party host is the ESFJ to me. The INFJ is very much the mystic. The ISFJ, it's like the caregiver. The ENFJ, I like debater. I like the debater for the ENTP. I'm not sure if this is right, but I kind of want to call the INFP the dreamer. It might sound kind of mean since everyone has dreams, but let's just put it that way as the dreamer first. I do like ISTJ as logistician. I'm going to put the INTJ as the critic. These are not their only aspect, but these are just cute, simple ways to kind of remember what makes them kind of different than others. The ISFP is kind of known as like the craftsman. I kind of want to give them that. about a vibe. The craftsman. Whereas the INTP is it a logician? If an INTP should be a logician, it should be a logician in theory. And the ESTP, I want to put like challenger. People say it's a conqueror, but the ESTP is a challenger. The debater and the challenger seem to both have something about it where they want to challenge others. ENFP is I want to come up with better. I think the ENFP is like the world jumper. You're jumping between different worlds. Whereas the ESFJ, ESFP seems like the, they get called party goat animal. Doesn't seem right. Whereas the ENFP is not present and just jumping all over the place. You think about that. I almost want to go the battering ram. They call the entertainer. The ENTJ. ENTJ is kind of like the achiever. It is like an achiever personality type that I don't think people would even go against the, it's like the achiever. It almost sounds silly when you start to looking at the different types. And the ESFP, logician, the craftsman, the debater, the challenger, the mystic, the caregiver. The ENFJ is the, I like to say the icon. ENFJ is like the mini sun. I've seen people like the ENFJ simply because of their energy. It is the ENFJ is like the mini sun. Let's go with that. ENFJ being the mini sun. And I like my new names, Mini Sun. I might have to replace them with the ESFP and the ESTJ. I don't want to give them too derogatory names. TJ's Achiever. Mr. Job Well Done. I'm going to call ESTJ Mr. Job Well Done. Mr. Job Well Done. Yes? Hello.
Oh my god. 你写的吗？
手写的，对。My girlfriend banned me from talking about MBTI.
这么厉害。
So I am forced.
这个是我今天晚上贴的。
嗯 Good job, in class. Good job, good job, good.
让我奖励你一下。
我在记录。
萨克你一下。
你在记录，你先扫过一下吗？
不可以吗？到底可不可以？
I'm not done yet. I'm not.
那可不可以？
Can you wait a little bit? I'm recording.
啊，那你去 recording 吗？
Oh my god. Oh my god.
妈妈。
Oh my gosh.
妈妈。
What's going on? Mr. Job Well Done, Achiever, Critic, ESFP. I kind of want to call the ESFP the battering ram. Like I honestly think that battering ram. I don't know if these are accurate, and this is like how I actually view them. The reason why I would call the ESFP like the battering ram is because they do have NI, So like ESFPs kind of know what they like, and they're just gonna go for it, and they're not gonna let anything stop them, and they're just gonna keep going, either until they break down the door or they themselves break. And then when they break, they're gonna like stop, reset, repair, and then start battering again. So I think the ESFP and the ENFP have something very interesting different, is that the ESFP is pretty straightforward and not too distracted about too many things, and just goes from in that straight line, makes life a straight line to what's the task I'm trying to get ahead. And I think they have the advantage of not being too distracted. Whereas the ENFP is like a world jumper. Like they're just moving between different worlds. So like a battering ram, he just goes in one direction, break down the gate, achieve the goal. I also made a distinction between Mr. Job Well Done, ESTJ, and Achiever, because I feel like the Achiever is actually much more it's sad to say this, but I think the ESTJ might work harder, but the ENTJ might work smarter. So the ENTJ may not work as hard, and they might actually get higher goals simply because they might rely on things like dressing very, very well. They have SE in their third function. So an ENTJ might, and I know some ENTJs who, they have all those sexy photos. So they're not exactly just relying on hard work. They want to, like, let's say two people they're both hardworking, and the ENTJ is not as hardworking as the ESTJ. They might use some strategy like networking, looking sexy, to achieve their goals. They're going to use by any means necessary. But the ESTJ is more focused about just getting the actual task done very, very well. And being NI-blind, they might not be the most tricky or strategic of the types. ENTJ is one of the most strategic of the types, because NI in the second function is quite balanced with NE. And so they are overusing TE, underusing TI, the ENTJ. But they've got good use of intuition, and their intuition and sensing is much more balanced. The ENTJ can play with intuitives because they got NI in a parent function, but they love SE, so they can really play with sensors. So the ENTJs are probably in a good spot. That's something kind of like INFPs and ENFPs. ENTJs and INFPs, we can see they have N and S in the second and third, and we see that in ENFJs. ENFJs are very popular among both intuitives and sensors. So it's the types that have like intuition in the first and intuition and sensing in the fourth. When they have the first and fourth functions where they kind of split apart, they become weirder to people. We see that's at least something that I would say from my own experience. Okay, we're going to save what we made, and we're going to eventually use this for more videos in the future. And tell me what nicknames you like to use. We can use new nicknames. I'm not too happy with Craftsman Logician. ICPs definitely believe in skills, though. Oh! Wow! Good job. girlfriend just invented, she combined two toys to invent a new toy. So funny. So funny, baby.很快结束。快结束。